Welcome to the Pit Crew. I'm Camille, your attending, and I have my residents with me.
I'm Mal.
And I'm Robert.
And this week we are diving into Season 2, Episode 9 of The Pit, which is the 3 p.m. hour, and we are retitling this one, We Live in Hell. And Robert, I think it's your turn to present the patient, so take it away.
Yeah. Patient presents with a case of being a standing furry suit in the corner, looking at you with those dead old eyes.
Oh my God. Kill it. Burn it.
I knew Robert was going to be so excited about the furries.
I'm mainly excited because I did not fucking think they were going to do this. I thought they were just going to overlook it and be like, yeah, we'll maybe make a reference to it or a little joke about it. I did not think they'd actually have a furry and the whole fursuit.
I'm so confused because anybody who listens to podcasts, I'm sure at some point you've heard the host say, I don't remember anything that I've ever said, okay?
No, the things that I say on this podcast are none of my business.
I literally have no idea what the fuck I've said ever on this podcast, okay? So, my question is, I know we've talked about furries, but then I started going through the transcripts of our episodes and searching for the word furry, and I was like, did that conversation get cut? Why were we talking about furries?
I think it was the conversation, the episode with Alyssa. I think we did cut it, but we did talk about for a solid couple of minutes. Alyssa, I thought of you immediately when this episode came out, by the way. Shout out to you. We did talk for a good minute about Anthrocon. And
yeah.
Right, because it is a real convention in Pittsburgh over this weekend.
Yes. Oh my God.
And at the time, and we cut this, and at the time all of us were joking and we're like, oh, they're not going to do it. It's too silly. And here we are.
God damn it.
I can't believe we could have been like, we had such a great prediction and we freaking cut it.
Because we were like, oh, it's too silly. We have to cut it to save time.
We're not allowed to cut anything ever again. You guys are getting uncut episodes.
Smurfs.
Yo, uncut? No, fuck off.
Uncut Smurfs.
I need the uncut Smurfs. Banging raw.
Up, by the way.
Does Robert know about that?
I did. I listened to the episode.
Okay.
I woke up Sunday morning to a text through the group chat that was like, to a post on the threads about how we're recording in an hour and a half. And I text the group chat. I'm like, we're recording in an hour and a half. I'm like, no. Mal and her friends are recording. I'm just supervising. I'm like, fair enough. I'm going to go back to sleep.
Yeah, if you don't know, Mal did get to go to the SNL dress rehearsal on Saturday night to see Connor Story and Hudson Williams.
Yes.
So if you want to hear about everything that got cut from the live broadcast, you can go listen to that and Mal will tell you all about it. Like uncut Smurfs banging raw. Oh, God. So this isn't easy, and Robbie wants people to raise their hands if they have any concerns. Basically, everybody raises their hand. Dr. Mohan's concern is that medication orders aren't coming up from the pharmacy. Langdon can't find clipboards. They need to stay in the cubby area. But everybody's kind of confused on the process and where things are supposed to be and if they're supposed to be carrying the charts around with them, the clipboards, and the answer is no.
There's just so many moving pieces here. I'm once again stressed out.
Yeah. And they need to write their notes by taking the T sheets to the bedside, but not the whole chart. Same for the nursing notes. Just ridiculous. Princess says the fax machine is down. And so they're like, Perla, go out to the ambulance bay and download a manual to look it up. And Perla's like, oh, but it's hot outside. I don't want to go out there. Princess, you should do it. And Princess is like, he said Perla. I swear to God, the aura of beef between these two right now.
Incredible.
Princess got me good a couple times this episode. She's really funny.
Oh, yeah.
Kristen Villanueva is a hysterical actress. So Ogilvy gets put in his place because basically he's got his hand up and Robbie just goes, Ogilvy, put your hand down.
Yeah, sit down, kid.
As I wrote in the notes, put your fucking hand down, gunner-ass med student.
You have to explain to people what a gunner is because this is something we learned from social media. A gunner is a med student who knows a lot and is very intelligent and will throw other people under the bus specifically to prove themselves. So Ogilvy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have had some people reach out to say, do you guys understand the reference that is Ogilvy's name? And the answer is, as a person, no, I did not know it, but I did see a post explaining it very early on, and then I forgot to mention it. Ogilvy's syndrome is sudden paralysis of the colon. So the colon acts like it's blocked, but it's not actually physically blocked. It's like a muscular kind of an issue.
Huh.
But symptoms include bloating and gas, constipation or diarrhea, etc. So like a pain in the ass, Ogilvy. So yes,
Amazing.
there you go. Now you guys know that too.
I appreciate that.
Dana says that she's working on getting help, but Robbie doubts that like she can get help at 3 p.m. on a holiday. But she says she knows people.
You know what? And I believe her because I think if Dana called me up and was like, hey, we need your help, I'd be like, yes, anything for you, queen.
If I needed to choose, like off the top of my head, 2 characters that I think could run like a special forces operation, like in and out, perfect, it would be Dana. And then what's the teacher from Abbott Elementary?
You're going to have to be more specific.
They're all teachers?
No. I mean the redhead.
Melissa. Okay, yeah.
Melissa. Yeah.
The one
Yeah.
with the guinea pig who she like told all the kids died.
Miss Shimenti. Yeah. Dana and Miss Shimenti.
Her in the class pet is still like my favorite arc on that show. I think that's so fucking funny. Anyway.
Nurse Olive Rivera presents a patient, is a 32-year-old female with abdominal pain. Dr. McKay is going to go to check it out.
Have we met Olive before? Because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this person in my life.
Mal was like, that's a gay, and I don't think I recognize them.
I don't know this person, and I'm getting a whiff of queer.
Santos, Javati, and Robbie are tending to an incoming 12-year-old Jude Augustine. It's our first firecracker injury. It exploded in his left hand, and he's lost 2 fingers. Like, they're gone. It's his ring finger and his pinky finger.
Editor Robert, play the meme. You know you want to.
Gone. Reduced to atoms.
Jude doesn't know his parents' phone number. We will find out why later. But he knows his sister's number. And, like, the vitals are good, but Robbie wants to give him more pain meds before they try to take the bandage off, which is, like, valid, especially because this is a child.
I felt very seen because I am a 28-year-old with a partner who works in the health field.
Yeah, did you guys know that Robert's partner is a telemetry tech? Do you know that I still don't even know what a telemetry tech is?
I got no idea.
But I know.
I really hope that at some point the pit focuses on telemetry and I can have Mac on as a guest, and that'll be fantastic. But I related so much to this scene because I also have my older sister as my primary emergency contact.
Jude's friends had firecrackers. He lit one. It went off really fast and he dropped it. So thankfully he dropped it, okay? He didn't hold on to it. But he doesn't want to see the injury. And Santos is like, that's fine. You don't have to. Just keep looking at me. And she, like, even holds his other hand.
You know, for someone who said not that long ago, like, oh, this is why I didn't go into peds and was, like, talking trash about peds. Like, she's great with kids. She really is.
I thought that, too. I was like, why the hell is she so good with kids?
Like, maybe somebody should explore going into peds.
But it's a really good thing that he dropped the firecracker, specifically because he could have lost his entire hand if he'd continued to hold on to it. Robbie says that this is something like an M80 or a cherry bomb. And I was like, okay, so why is he calling out the difference? Like, what is that? So I Googled it. M80s and cherry bombs are illegal, by the way. We cut to Nurse Jesse. He's getting off the phone. He's in the other trauma room. The ICU can take Brooke, who is the woman who was losing vision in one eye, if the next neuro exam is good. And then they can monitor her for the rest of the day there. Now, vision is starting to return to her eye, but what normal people can see at 200 feet, she can see at only 20. So that's not great, but it's better. And it was this small win for Mel. And she's like very pleased about this, which I was tickled by. Like, I love seeing her happy. And it really did snap her out of the funk she was in. Also, a shout out to Dr. Steven, who has been listening for a while. He did email us to explain the confusion that we had last week about Dr. Al talking about like what was so not standard of care. And I was just like, maybe this just went over my head. I'm confused. He did write to us to explain. So he said, I thought I would give further context to Dr. Al and the painless unilateral blindness patient. And Robert is right. Painless is almost always worse than painful for anything. Ding, ding,
Robert
ding,
is loud and right. Yay.
He goes on to say that wasn't standard therapy she got. Dr. Al was consenting her to be a part of a research study, which is a big deal. He also says, I approached dozens of patients who were intubated at the time or families for entry into a research study I was part of as a fellow at the VA. Consenting a patient for entry into a study is a very tricky line you have to walk. They have to know enough to have actual informed consent, but obviously you have an interest in them accepting, so you have to watch yourself. You also don't want to make it sound so scary that no one accepts. The threat of any impropriety whatsoever will get your study shut down by IRB, which is the Institutional Review Board, the Hospital Research Ethics Committee, super fast. Dr. Al would stay in the room herself so that she could monitor for adverse events, any of which need to be reported to IRB post-haste. He also said that adverse effects are terrifying because those two can get you shut down. And so that's why Dr. Al wanted Mel to stay there, is to make sure like everything is very accurate and very real and taken care of and monitored. I also did want to say, bonkers banana pants in my brain. Steven also was like, thanks for the show. I watched this show differently because of you guys, which is crazy that there's a doctor who's like, I watched this show differently because of you idiots. We watched this show differently because of you guys, so that's crazy.
Yeah, we thank you. I'm glad that this can be a mutually beneficial relationship. You can explain to us the medical stuff, and we can explain all the silly little details and fun things.
Jokes.
You get to do the hard part.
Mel is going to go on a little break before her deposition. She has a little more than 15 minutes. She's going to let Robbie know that she's off the clock. But Lupe comes up to her as she's coming out of the trauma room to tell her that Becca is in chairs. And we're like, oh God, we knew this was coming, but oh God.
The way that Taylor Dearden runs is everything to me. It's just so funny.
I know, she takes off.
I love that she's holding her stethoscope on both sides.
Yes. It's kind of giving like when the nerdy kid would leave school and like sprint away holding their backpack. Like that was the vibe it was getting, and it was so endearing to me.
We're in triage now. And I have emotional damage. I never asked to see this. I think this is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen on the show, honestly. Is a fucking furry.
Camille, I don't think that we agree with you and your take on furries.
That's fine.
Furries are good people.
It's a no from me on the furry.
I mean, it's a no from me on a furry convention in July. That feels insane. Like, this feels like a wintertime activity, but like...
Maybe they have like a smothering kink too.
God.
I wish you guys had seen, because Mal, I almost for a second thought maybe her video had frozen because she was just like, Now, across from the furry is McKay with a patient who has abdominal pain. They're thinking it's probably pain from a cyst. She has PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome. They're going to do a UA, which is a urinalysis, and a urine pregnancy test, and also give her Toradol for the pain. I personally have been prescribed Toradol so many goddamn times in my life. It's also called Ketorolac. It's just like a stronger ibuprofen, basically. I mean, I'm going to say that, and Steven's going to be like, no, it's fucking not. Dr. Steven's going to be like, no, it's not. She says that she's not pregnant, but it is still hospital policy to check. We cut to Mel going out to chairs. It kind of just like feels like walking into a horde of zombies. Like it's so chaotic, and there's like people like, are you a doctor? I've been waiting hours. Like, also the man who's like, are you a doctor? I've been waiting hours. I swear I recognize him from somewhere.
God, here come the emails in the comments being like, oh, he looks like he's this guy from this thing you never watched. I'm like, please just shoot me and put me out of my misery already.
Yeah, I like everyone on this show looks familiar somehow. I'm like, I've seen this person before, and then I like look up what they were in, and I've never seen any of it. So
the funny thing about being a podcaster is that you make a mistake or ask a question once, and you will never stop getting responses because there's always someone new listening.
Yes, there are always people correcting us for things that we said like when we started the podcast, and I'm like, guys, we know we've been corrected. We listen to a couple more episodes and you'll see that we learned our lesson and we talk about it. But like somebody listening to episode 2 is like, so actually, and it's like, yeah, okay, thank you.
The funny thing is like we mispronounced toque as toque because we're American. We call them beanies, okay?
Or hats.
We've never stopped hearing it's actually toque, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay.
Okay. No, we've gotten that comment probably like 10 times now. And I'm like, guys, we know now.
So Mel is kind of trying to like, we're just really busy and we're helping everyone as quickly as possible. But she's looking for Becca. And when she finally finds her, we find out that the residential care nurse for the independent living facility that she is at is out for the holiday, right? But they talked to her on the phone and she was like, you should go to the emergency room, which again, I'm like, okay, interesting that you wouldn't send her to an urgent care. I don't know. Okay, sure. I don't know. Mel takes her straight back. I really like seeing Becca in the pit. Like, I don't want her there, but it's nice to see her there. Like, not just on a phone screen
It's
or
nice
like...
to see her as like a part of things. Yeah. Let her be a doctor.
Yeah. I also am just thinking, I know they haven't said it in the show, so we don't know if it's still, like, if it stayed canon from script to screen. But watching them in this episode, I was like, they are twins. They're definitely twins. They have to be.
If you want to hear more discussion about whether they are or aren't twins, you should check out our interview with Tal Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, if you don't know, that was in the audition process. Tal said that she was told that Becca is Mel's twin. So, yeah, we don't know if that actually ended up on the screen, but when I was watching the scene, I was like, no, those are twins right there. That's twins.
Becca at some points, as they're walking through, says, wow, there are a lot of smelly people here. And I immediately thought, Camille, ring your I was right bell, because when they were fanning themselves with the patient passports a couple episodes ago, you were like, oh, I know everyone smells bad.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Ding, 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 ding. It's the little things, too. Now, we cut back to Jude. He's numbed up. He can't feel the pain, and they're going to start rinsing the wound with saline. Again, I was just like, God damn, I can't believe Santos is this good with kids, because she hates them, it seems like. But I will say, she's a great advocate for kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if she weren't a doctor, she would do really well in social services.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also think that she recognizes that social services needs to be better. And those are the exact kinds of people that you want to go into those fields, is people who look at them and go, that could be better. Like Dr. Al, looking at medicine and going, that could be better.
Continuing our pattern of jinxes, we have Garcia coming down, and Robbie presents, he's like, oh, it's a hand versus M80 case. And she's like, I'm surprised we've only seen one of these. I'm like, oh my God, stop.
Again, we're going to have the fireworks store that blows up. I'm ready to ring my loud and right bell.
Okay, so this isn't even the only jinx that we get this episode. Like, we're going to get another one later, but Jude does need surgery. They need to clean everything up, and then they're going to cover where the skin is missing. Ugh. But he still has his thumb. He still has the important fingers. He's just missing his pinky and his ring finger.
As a lesbian, it did crack me up that Santos said that he still had his important fingers. Thank you.
Robbie also says that those are the important fingers, but I'm not of the mind that Robbie knows how to please a woman. He knows where it is. Does he know what it is?
I'm of the mind that Robbie doesn't know what pleasure is. He just knows despair.
Robbie cries after sex. I'm sorry.
Before,
That's
during,
canon.
and after, baby.
Oh my God. Anyway. On the topic of lesbians, Garcia's bedside manner this episode sucks.
Oh, Garcia sucks this episode. I'm mad at her.
I know why
it
you're
takes a
mad
lot
at her.
for me to hate a woman. Well, yeah, but I support women's wrongs, but Garcia is towing a line here.
This is a bunch of gobbledygook to me, so hopefully this makes sense. FDS and FTPS and extensor function are all intact, is what they say. So FDS stands for flexor digitorum superficialis, and FTP stands for finger to palm. And all of this just basically means the major tendons that are responsible for being able to move your palms and your fingers are intact and they're functioning properly. They need parental consent for the surgery, which is something that they're working on getting. But Santos tells Robbie that she can smell alcohol on Jude's breath because he's crying and he exhales really big. And she's like, because she's sitting right next to where he breathes out. And she's like, yeah, there's alcohol in his breath. And I was like, oh my God. For a second, I was like, is this going to be a problem with the painkillers and stuff they gave him?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm. That's where my brain went at first, is I was like, oh my God, is there going to be like an adverse reaction because he's been drinking? No matter what, Jude is going to have to wait because Ortho is still working with Billings, who's the patient who had the open shoulder dislocation with the billing issue. And he went to the other hospital and then he came back to this hospital and it's just a mess. Now, Santos stops Garcia before she heads back up on the elevator and asks if the rain check is still in place for the fireworks. There are no fireworks here because Garcia says that she made other plans.
God, this was the messy lesbian rap I didn't want, but needed, perhaps.
Garcia being like, we're keeping it casual, right? As the elevator doors close, is like a dropping an atomic bomb on a baby. Santos caught feelings for her situationship.
All I could think of was, we get together and we fuck. It's easy.
It's simple.
It's
simple for me.
I am such a slut for a gay situationship. I'm sorry.
Oh, God. Now, Whitaker stops Robbie and informs him that he was able to get in touch with Howard's sister. Howard is the overweight patient from the last episode, and she is willing to talk to him once he gets back. Okay, so we are going to see him back. He is coming back. I didn't understand that he was just going there for the scan. So he's just going there for the scan and then coming back.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that either. I also kind of thought he was going to die on the way or something. Like, I did not think we were going to see that man again, but...
She was like, I thought they were all going to die. I thought the ambulance was going to crash.
Listen, I am always looking for the worst case scenario.
So, again, Robbie has very little faith in everyone, including Dana, which is wild. I'm kidding. But Dana does have backup on the way. So, okay. Now, she says, have you seen a gum band anywhere? And I was like, am I insane? What? Like, this is a ball of rubber bands. Am I stupid? And this is something that everybody says and I just don't know it? Like, Robert, you and I both Googled it.
Pittsburgh specific thing?
Yes.
It is Pittsburghese for a rubber band. It also like tripped me up and I was like, oh geez, what is this? But no, I Googled it and that's what they call it in Pittsburgh, I guess.
Because I was like, it's a rubber band ball.
I also there are 3 crimson flags for the Robbie is suicidal theory. One of them is when he's like, damn, I thought I was gonna make a clean getaway from my trip. I'm like, Robbie, buddy, you okay?
No.
Prior to this episode, I would have thought as him like being joking around, but with 2 other things he says later, I'm like, okay, no, that's a cry for help. That is okay.
Yeah. Now Mel brings Becca back to meet everybody, and she introduces her as her sister, and she says, "My name is Becca, not your sister," which is great. And she introduces her to Dana and to Robbie, and Becca says, "You're Dr. Robbie? Cool." It's like show and tell, and I love it.
It's bring your sister to work day. Anyway.
So Becca is going to Central 7. She gets distracted by the furry who's being wheeled by. She starts to follow the furry. And then Mel's like, no, this way, and turns her around. And she takes her into an exam room, into Central 7, and she's like going through like everything that's going to happen and like what they're going to do and all this other stuff. And Becca's basically like, I've been to the doctor before. Like, you don't have to tell me this. And she's like, oh, right. Sorry. Mel has an alarm on her phone set for 15 minutes before her deposition and it goes off. And so she's like, now she's really on a tilt-a-whirl. Like, if she wasn't before, she definitely is now. She's so distracted and out of it that she grabs gloves that are like way too big. By the way, at the end of the scene, before it cuts away, you see her with these massive gloves on her hands. Like, wait, what?
She also like puts them on wrong.
Yeah.
Fingers are all wonky in there.
She's got the important ones, though. So Ahmad comes to the nurse's station to give Princess the winnings from the betting pool. And Perla immediately calls her a cheater and says that she had insider knowledge from someone named Rose at Westbridge.
That's incredible. I'm obsessed with that. I was like, that is the coolest thing a woman can do to me is cheat in the office betting pool. Like, Princess, I'm obsessed with you.
So to shut Perla up, she's going to give her 40% of the winnings. I have no clue how much money she won, and I'm not good at guessing that.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, there's this little like wad of cash that Ahmad hands her, and I'm like, okay, how much is that? And I'm like, okay, assuming everyone bet at least $20, and like Whitaker out here, R.I.P. Whitaker's $40. That's all the money he had to his name. Assuming everyone bet like $20 and there's like, what, 40 people who work in that ER roughly, right?
I guess.
That's about $800.
Jesus. Now, I'm watching them mess with this fax machine with like tongs, basically, like a medical instrument, going in to try to get the paper jam. And as an IT person, I'm sitting here with my hand over my eyes, like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. You're just going to break it. Emma and Perla do yank the paper out that is causing the jam. But now the fax machine needs toner. And Emma is like, where do we get more of that? And Dana's like, 1988. Thinking about, like, the fact that they work in a medical field and they have a fax machine. If the fax machine is so old that you can't find toner for it anymore, perhaps that is a device that should not be connected to your network.
Yeah, feels like a security issue.
Exactly. So for me, I'm sitting here going, if you couldn't even find toner for it, it's not like fax machines are just fax machines. Like, printers can fax. You can have a multifunction device. There are tons of them. They're very standard. So I'm sitting here going, why do you have something connected to your network that's that old anyway? Because you do have to connect it to an analog, like a telephone cable. Just seems a little risky in our current situation. We cut back to Whitaker and McKay with the PCOS patient. We do find out her name later in the episode. Her name is Amaya. She was diagnosed with PCOS last summer, but that's not where it all started. She's had like years of pain, hormone changes, abnormal periods, all this other stuff. And then she finally found a gynecologist who listened to her. And McKay is like, yeah, sometimes it takes time to make the diagnosis. But the patient is like, that just sounds like lazy doctoring. And then she also says that it doesn't help that a lot of doctors don't tend to listen to women, especially women of color. I loved how well McKay took this. She didn't take it personally. Like, again, McKay leads with compassion, and she's like, you know what? Valid.
Well, because, like, me as an audience member, when she was like, oh, some of y'all don't listen, I was kind of like, hey, whoa. And then I was like, oh, perhaps there's some things I need to examine there, because this is not about me. Why am I taking this personally? So, like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have PCOS. I'm not a woman of color. I'm also not a doctor. I don't even work in the medical field. So why do I feel defensive? So yeah, it's one of those moments where you just go, okay, take a breath. Why am I feeling a heightened reaction to this? Because there's something to examine there. But definitely, because yeah, me too. I felt defensive of her. But then I was like, no, McKay is very right in that she's like, you know what? And she doesn't say, you're right. It was just like yeah. And then she adapts and she takes that and goes, I've learned a new thing. And it's like she installs that and then moves forward with that knowledge now. And I really liked it. So they do a vaginal ultrasound on the patient, and Whitaker is like looking away respectfully.
Okay, oh shucks, little farm boy Whitaker. My God, you're a doctor. You're probably gonna have to do this procedure at some point.
If he hasn't already. I'm like, but it's canon. Whitaker has never seen a vagina.
That boy is not sleeping with women. The benefits are purely the farm, really and truly.
Yeah. So it's unlikely to be an ectopic pregnancy, which I believe is this is not something I'm fact-checking. This is just something I think I know is a pregnancy outside of the uterus.
Hers when a fertilized egg implants outside the uterus. You're correct.
Hey, cool. So yeah, which is crazy that that's a thing that can happen because you think uterus, that's where the babies are. So the pregnancy test came back negative. So again, an ectopic pregnancy is unlikely. The patient is hoping that someday it will be a positive pregnancy test. She's not trying right now, but she's getting married in September and she would like to have a baby. And she has a bunch of small cysts, which is to be expected, but that's what they find. And then they say there's a big one that's about 5 centimeters. And she says that her gynecologist has been monitoring her. I almost kind of wish she'd had a name for it. I really thought she was going to be like, oh yeah, we've been monitoring her. That's Bertha or something. Whitaker basically wants to treat her and street her. I'm going to say it right because we talked about Dr. Steven in this episode in his email, and he is the one who was like, guys, stop. It is not yeet.
Treat him and yeet him.
Yeet. This bitch empty. But McKay basically is like, isn't that what all of her previous doctors have done in the past? Which, again, I'm like, oh my God, she took this new information, she installed it very quickly, and she moved forward and rapidly, like, improved herself and recalibrated, and I love that. I loved it so much.
I think McKay is great at that. Like, she's great at rolling with the punches, not taking things personally. She's kind of underrated in terms of like how cool under pressure she is.
She's really incredible. And I think that it's again like her life experience is that she is, you know, she's a single mother. She had an addiction problem.
She's older than your typical
right?
med student, yeah.
And to be clear, like, she's not a med student anymore, but, you know, yeah. Mohan, Ogilvy, and Perla are talking to Mr. Green. He has flank pain, and he says it feels like another kidney stone. And Ogilvy asks him if he's had them before, and Mr. Green is like, I said another, which means an additional thing. And then he's like, I'm an English teacher. And I'm like, you're also a fucking dickhead.
Listen, this is also something I kind of love to do. Just like be silly when someone, like, to take something really literally when someone, okay, Mr. Green is kind of a dick here, but one of my favorite things to do, especially when somebody's like, can I borrow some tape? I'm always like, yes, make sure you return it.
I don't know, can you?
No, I'm always like, make sure you return it. Because like if you're borrowing it, you got to return it. And then no one ever finds it funny, but I think it's funny. So I do like to play with grammar, but I do think the way he says this is kind of an asshole move.
My soapbox is basically like, if you want to stop being so nitpicky about grammar, especially because when you do, you get into like microaggressions and racism because of the different dialects that we have with English. But also, if you want to act like you understand English so well, then you should understand that we speak it differently and how people communicate, right? Like taking like in the South, we say we're fixin' to do something, right? And then in AAVE, you would say you're finna do something.
Right.
That's just like, it doesn't make any sense, but it still makes sense because it is how we speak. That's our dialect. It's a regional thing. And so, like, it just annoys me when people do this because, one, there are, you know, poorer communities tend to speak in different ways than higher income communities, right? Like, we speak differently, we live in different areas, we, you know, you could have less education or whatever. And then you've also got communities of color who systemically are underserved and undereducated based off of, you know, compared to their white counterparts. And so, to me, it's just like a rabbit hole that just like, I'm like, you don't want to step into that with me. Like, don't even. If you understood what I fucking meant, leave it at that, you know? Unless you're my friend and we're being actually goofy. Like, if I don't know you, don't fucking talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're my English teacher, and I say, can I go to the bathroom? And you say, I don't know, can you? That's fine. That's one thing.
No, if you're my English teacher and you say, I'm like, well, I guess I'm pissing on the floor. That'll teach him. Ogilvy is like, oh, this is triggering. My dad was an English teacher. And I'm like, if the show thinks that I'm going to be sympathetic towards Ogilvy because he has fucking daddy issues or whatever, the show's smoking drugs. Like, I do not give a shit about this guy and his fucking daddy issues.
Listen, the fastest way to get me to sympathize with a man is to give him daddy issues just because of who I am as a person. It will not work on me this time. I'm stronger than that, and I hate this guy. I don't care about your bad relationship with your father, James Ogilvy. You fucking suck. If by the end of this season, somehow I'm eating my words, I'm quitting the podcast.
I know, she's gonna choke and die on them before she eats them.
I need this man to be irredeemable. I just do not redeem him.
Sit down and shut up, Jimmy Neutron. So, anyway, they're gonna order some pain meds for him and some tests, right? So, Dr. Al has solved the radiology problem with radiology getting all backed up and everything. She brought radiology down to them, and it's Dr. Barker, but he also introduces himself as Nick.
If you're a freak.
If you're nasty. And he says that he's going to have wet read results in no time. And that he explains that wet read means x-rays used to be physically developed in a dark room, right? Like in like the tubs, you know, like you see in the movies and whatever, like the red lighting and anyway. So it's the same principle as like photography is a wet read. And Princess is in the back of this scene looking at him. And she's like, well, here's my wet read. He's hot.
Camille! So this is our hot radiology guy, not Mateo.
R.I.P. We thought it was Mateo.
I still think it's Mateo.
I do not.
I don't, especially after Princess's actions in this episode.
Princess's actions?
By the way, we made the joke in a previous episode about how your bones are wet, and guess what? So are their photos.
Ew. Dana points out that Nick and this fucking behemoth of a machine are taking up a shitload of space. But we also do get a very quick update on Baby Jane Doe. Baby Jane Doe has requested... Wait.
Baby Jane Doe can't speak.
Baby Jane Doe can't request anything.
Baby Jane Doe at this point, they're not even sure can smile on command.
On command. Baby Jane Doe, smile. Now, they've requested an emergency custody authorization, and once they get a court order, she will be placed in foster care. So we have a little update for her.
It's kind of wild to me how long this is taking. Like, man, the government systems really take a while.
Mm-hmm. So Princess comes over, she's flirting with Nick, and she's like, oh my god, I love photography.
Not the only wet read happening, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I read that. That's wet. Now, Mel wants to talk to Robbie about Becca, but it's time for her deposition. And Morgan Stiles is one of the attorneys for the hospital, and she comes down. And the little tiny, like, right now? Right now? Like,
Right now?
it's so cute to me. Now, Robbie's like, everything's going to be fine. You also can't care for Becca. Like, that's a conflict of interest kind of a thing.
No, and I'm glad he said that, because that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, Mel should not be the one in here doing this, because she is very clearly off her game. Number one, because the deposition is so soon. And number two, because, like, this is her sister. And I was like, Mel, you need to go get someone else. You need to get someone else.
Robbie needs to find somebody who's free to take care of Becca. So he's like, Santos, are you free? And she goes, is anyone ever?
Woke Queen Santos. None of us are free. So true.
Oh my god.
I was going to be like woke emo Santos.
And also Mel literally looks at Robbie and she's like, no, not in art too. Like, and so Langdon walks out and Dana says, just the guy we were looking for. And he goes, oh, you need something? And Mel goes, yeah, I stay winning, bitches.
Yeah, I knew the second they had Langdon come in, I was like, oh, she's gonna be okay with Langdon. They're doing this for the shippers. All right.
No. Now here's my thing is, and I know you don't mean that seriously, but I will say, I've seen some people who are like, if these two characters interact, it's only going to be for fan service. And I'm like, no, actually not.
Listen, I have been in fandom long enough to know that, like, two characters don't even have to speak in canon for people to be like, yeah, I want to see those two get it on. And so I think, like, Mel and Langdon could not talk to each other at all and people would still be like, I think that would be kind of neat. So, like...
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and every interaction is not for the shippers. I just said that, okay?
Yeah.
I don't
No,
ship
I know.
it.
And I know,
ship it.
that's why I said that. I just think that, like, I get really annoyed with people because they're like, we had a very clear chemistry between Mohan and Abbott in season 1. And there are people who are like, if they continue to interact, it's just fan service. And I'm like, or this was kind of the plan from the beginning and there were the seeds there and people picked up on it. And now you're just accusing it of being fan service because you don't like it.
Or there are two characters that had chemistry. Like, it's not fan service because two characters get along, to be honest. Except when I'm the fan being serviced and then I'm like, yes, thank you for the fan service.
Now, Robbie tells Langdon to take care of Becca and he tells Santos to pick up Mel's other patients while she's doing her deposition. And Santos is like, how the hell am I supposed to do my charting? Like, catch up on my charting?
You don't, baby girl.
After your shift, like the rest of us.
Awesome. Super great. So Mel introduces Becca to Langdon, and Becca, oh God. No, she's like, you have nice hair. Like, it's just very, and I'm like, did Mel tell Becca that Langdon is pretty, or did she keep it strictly professional and was like, he's very nice and he's very helpful and he's a lot of fun, you know? Because I kind of got the same vibe as, like, when Mel talks about her sister, she gets really excited and animated and she kind of just starts talking and talking and talking. It doesn't pick up on the social cues of being like, I was just kind of asking the, you know, whatever. And the thing here is that I was wondering, like, how much has she told Becca about Langdon and Robbie? And, like, because I'm sure she's like, oh, it's not just like, oh, yeah, they're nice. It's like, they're nice and this and this and this and this, you know? Like, I'm sure those girls can yap.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, she's complimenting his hair. She tucks her hair behind her ear, Which, like, she goes to adjust her glasses and then tucks her hair behind her ear. Precious. And the way that Mel absolutely lights up because Langdon asks her to turn the lights out when she leaves. That's me done.
Yeah.
Cut the cameras. I'm done.
He
I
learned
can't.
one thing from Mel last season, and he's gonna keep bringing it up.
He will never forget it. Now, Becca is here because she has a stomachache, right? But then she also says it stings to pee. And she says that she also, and so Langdon is like asking all the right questions in the right way. And we find out that she feels like she constantly needs to pee, but then when she tries to pee, nothing comes out. She has a UTI for sure.
Oh, 100%.
It does seem that way, yes.
And so I'm sitting here thinking, is there going to be more to this? I'm sitting here thinking when Mel finds out that her sister has a UTI, she's going to be like, how the hell? Why? You know? Did anyone else think that at all?
I did think that. And then I kind of was like, maybe I shouldn't be reading into, because my gut reaction is always like, assume the worst, and then the worst almost never happens, you know? Because this is not necessarily that kind of medical show.
I'm just going to address the elephant in my room, is that I have to push back against my own misconceptions that, like, people with autism who live in, you know, who need, like, around-the-clock care, they can also have sex. And so, like, that to me is the elephant in the room. And maybe someone's listening to this and going, no. To me, though, I'm sitting here going, why am I uncomfortable saying that I thought that that could be a possibility? I have to address my own biases and be like, girl, she could absolutely be banging it out. Why are you acting like that's not a possibility? You know?
Right. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something more, but then also so many of these plot lines have just sort of ended when I was like, no, there's more. So I really feel like I'm a really bad judge of like what they're doing more with and what they're not. But perhaps they're going to teach us that autistic people can in fact have sex, and maybe that's what we need. I don't know.
Now we cut back to Roxy, who has been in pain this whole time, basically. They're talking about morphine. Do you need more morphine? And there's a look between McKay and Nurse Lena, and like they definitely know, like, if she needs this much morphine, like it is that double effect.
There are a lot of people who are confusing giving drugs to treat the pain for, oh, this is assisted suicide. It's two completely different things. There's a lot of discourse on PITT social media being like, oh, they're just going to kill her for no fucking reason. It's like, no, that's not what's happening. They are treating the pain. And if, as a result of treating the pain, Roxy dies, that's just what happens sometimes.
I read things, and if it's a stupid take, it makes me mad. Like, I can't. Anyway, Roxy's kids come in, and her parents are back with ice cream, and it's Jenny's. One of her kids gets up in her bed with her, and it causes her physical pain. And I had this devastating moment of thinking, how terrible must it be to know that you are not long for this world, you are nearing the end of your life, and the number one thing you want to do is be with the people that you love and spend every last moment with them because you don't want to leave them, but to know that being in physical contact with them is causing you excruciating pain.
No, I know. When her son got up on that bed, I was just like, ugh.
Because also, like, if I thought that my last memories with my mom were that me getting up in her bed caused her excruciating pain, like, the whole thing is just awful, right? You are slightly scathed, no matter who you are. But yeah, that was just devastating to think, like, all she wants to do is spend the rest of her life with her kids and her husband, and at this point, doing that is causing pain. And that's so, so sad. Oh my God. For a moment of levity, we cut back to Princess.
Staring at Nick, yeah.
And Javati, by the way.
Another Utah for Javati?
Perla comes back and snaps her fingers in front of Princess's face, which is...
oh, hysterical.
Yeah, and tells her to close her mouth, basically. Like, do I need to call him environmental services? There was a puddle of drool on the ground.
Sometimes your friends gotta snap you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let you know you're being a little too horny.
Mm-hmm. Now, Perla starts complimenting Langdon's, like, bedside manner with Becca, and you can kind of tell that it, like, bothers Robbie that anybody is giving Langdon a win because Robbie's a bitch.
Yeah, I also forgot to point out when we were talking about Langdon talking to Becca, but we get the second funny Robbie face of the season. And like, it's in the context of him being an asshole and being judgmental, but I'm just a really big fan of how Noah Wiley's face like scrunches up like that when he's like, what the fuck's going on in there?
Oh my god. Dana's complaining that Nick is like tying up this machine and they're waiting for films to be developed, and Robbie's like, okay, there's a USB port. Can't you just download them to a workstation and look at them without internet? So Jude's guardian has arrived, and then we have Donnie coming in, and he's like, who's in 22? Because that room is supposed to be empty, but it's Javati's patient. And she was under the assumption that the nurses were taking care of the board, but Dana's like, no, everybody is. It's all hands on deck. And so the patient that Javati has is Mrs. Burns, and she's presenting with nausea. So Javati has ordered labs and x-rays, and she still hasn't presented. And Dana's like, you need to find someone with an MD after their name.
Which I love. Dana's just hilarious. Everyone's funny, but like Dana and Princess are so far stealing the show for me right now in this episode.
Robbie and Santos meet Chantal, who is Jude's guardian, because their parents aren't around. And she hears that Jude blew off 2 of his fingers, and she starts scolding him, and Robbie's like, okay, let's like de-escalate, let's go outside. One, I have so many thoughts about this. I don't have immigrant parents, but from everything that I've heard about them, can you imagine trying to explain to immigrant parents?
I could not even think about doing, like, explaining this to my mom and dad, or having, God, my sister having to explain to my mom and dad that I was like a dumbass and I blew off 2 of my fingers. Oh my God. My day job requires me to like work around a lot of sharp tools and dangerous machines. And like, it's a constant fear for my mom to be like, oh my God, I worry that you're going to lose your fingers. And it's a very common injury in my line of work to lose a finger or like parts of your finger. I thankfully still have all 10 digits right now, even the important ones, and I'd like to keep it that way for the rest of my career.
Remember when Emma was like, I speak French? And I was like, why the fuck does she speak French? Haitian people speak French and Haitian Creole. And I'm sorry, I'm very uncultured. I don't know if that was French or Haitian Creole. I think it was Haitian Creole, but I'm sure that if you know French, you could kind of get by a little bit.
Knowing Spanish, I could kind of get by because it sounded, a couple of the words sounded like Latin based, you know, because French.
But also, like, this kid is so good at crying. I don't know if you guys noticed the big old fat tear that like really quickly rolled out of his eye. Bro, I can't imagine trying to parent a child that can cry like that on command. I can't imagine trying to parent a child. I don't want one, but
I didn't even think about that.
So they tell his sister that they found alcohol in his blood work, and he has a BAC of 0.08, which is the legal limit,
drive.
Is it not? Yeah, he can't drive.
I mean, he's 12, but also he cannot drive.
He probably got it from the bad influence kids that are in their apartment complex. Unfortunately, a positive blood alcohol for a 12-year-old does trigger a social services consult.
Which, like, good, but also kind of heartbreaking in this context.
Because she's worried that they're going to take her brother away.
Mm-hmm.
And she does not want to cooperate with them. And we'll learn more about, like, why that is so raw a thing for her later. But she goes back into Jude's room to be with him. And so Javati and Whitaker go to check up on Mrs. Burns. She's not doing great. But before we get there, we're learning that she was nauseous and she'd thrown up one time after eating warm potato salad.
Disgusting.
So now she's warm because she's turning into potato salad because you are what you eat. No, she's warm. She has a thready pulse. She's barely breathing. So they need a crash cart. They need to call respiratory. Like, it's going to be a party, right? Everybody needs to be there. And so Digby is in the bed next to hers. And he's like, oh, I can get out of the way. This whole thing, like, Javati's kind of freaking out because this is the first time we've seen her, like, fuck up.
Yeah.
Everybody else, we've seen them fuck up, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time she's fucked up.
This is the first time she's ever done anything wrong in her life, and her golden child persona is crumbling before her eyes, and
her entire everything is based off of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She's even, like, praised for being, like, a protege and a child genius and all this other stuff. And so when you make a mistake, and that's what you've built your entire self around, that really kicks it all out from under you.
Yeah.
So basically, like, the whole time, Javati's freaking out because she just came in with, like, abdominal pain and she'd vomited once. And now, obviously, something is very wrong. Like, her belly is kind of rigid and distended, and, like, something is very wrong with this woman. Now, we cut to Santos and Joy, and they're checking in on the furry patient who's in this cooling room that Langdon had set up.
The furry suit is propped up in this standing position right outside the patient's room, and I'm fucking screaming in terror.
I fully thought there was someone like in the furry suit just standing guard outside this room.
So the patient previously had a temperature of 1015 and a heart rate of 120, but now she's down to 100.2 and a heart rate of 96, so that's better. The aesthetic of this cooling room is actually very cool. Oh,
yeah, misty.
It's cool. Mm-hmm.
Ahaha.
Yeah, she says she was at Anthrocon,
the annual furry convention, and I love that she tries to get Santos to go. She's like, you'd make a good dragon.
She already is one.
She's like, hey, lesbian furry suit, am I right? And Santos is like, that's not really my vibe. And listen,
I prefer a Brazilian.
And listen, I think the only thing that's stopping me for at least doing it once, because I like doing things at least once just to be like, fuck it, I did it. I lived a life where I did a bunch of things. I would wear a furry suit if they weren't thousands of dollars.
Listeners, when you tune in and we announce that Robert is no longer hosting, that will be because it was the day that...
I thought you were going to be like, when you tune in, you find out Robert's no longer alive. It's because we had to do the right thing.
It's because Robert became a furry and we had to put them down.
He was born a dog. He's going to die a dog. She's really up on the furry community. She's, like, oh, they're a great community. I met my girlfriend at one of these conventions. Okay, I personally have found, like, the convention circuit and the culture surrounding it in cosplay circles to be so toxic and so awful. And when I was in it, I didn't think it was until, like, someone turned against me. And then I realized it was a bunch of 30-somethings acting like teenagers. And I was like, oh, I'm done here. Bye-bye.
But it is fun to act like a teenager occasionally.
So Joy is happy to hear that you can still meet people in real life. And then Santos, why she says this, I'm not sure.
Because she's messy. The messy lesbian energy in this episode is
everything to Mal. But yeah, because Santos is like, oh, you shouldn't like talk to and meet people at work. And it's like, I'm sorry your situationship isn't going great, but like, just...
I was like, that is a lore drop that no one needed here.
No, you know who needs it? It's the people who are like, why wasn't Robbie wearing a helmet in episode 1? Guys, he said he was wearing... Like, we had the cute little hints throughout the past 8 episodes to be like, oh, Santos and Garcia or something. This episode is like beating it into your head. Santos and Garcia are something. Santos caught feelings. Garcia did not.
Listen, when we said we wanted Robbie, that what Robbie really needed was to get cracked, we didn't mean against the pavement. Like, okay, God. Now, there's a whole panic trying to find this chart for Javati's patient. She wasn't on the board, so Javati basically just kind of relied on everything running smoothly, right? She is showing her age here. She's not even 21 yet. And if anybody was going to make this mistake of like flubbing the analog system, it was going to be Javati. She is the youngest one there. So her patient, they find out, has a sigmoid volvulus, which basically, I looked it up, and it's like if you had a colon, right? Like a long, thin... I'm just going
to... Imagine having a colon. It couldn't be me.
Imagine if you had a colon.
But basically, okay, so imagine you were going to make like a balloon animal, right? And so you have like the long, thin balloon, right? And so if you were going to make like an ear, you would like loop it and then twist it, right?
Yes.
So if your colon loops and then twists, that's what that is.
How does that even happen? Like, why don't my organs just stay where they need to be? It's the same with, like, the ovary. I'm like, how did it just twist like that? How does that happen?
So Ogilvy, honestly, is doing totally fine with the kidney stone patient. Like, he's having a totally normal experience with a patient while Javati's world is falling apart, which is really unfortunate. And Mohan is thinking about her D-dimer patient and how he, like, fakes symptoms so that he can come in because he's lonely. And she's like, oh, my God, my mom is just lonely. And I'm lonely. And McKay's like, yeah, me too. And then Mohan says that the painful, lonely silence is the sound of her eggs dying. And my note was, can't relate, let him die. No thanks. So McKay laughs at this, and Mohan just stares at her. I'm like, okay, all right, my bad. So, okay, we're going to find out really quickly. The citrus burn guy is discharged. Jackson has gone to psych, and the eye stroke has gone to the ICU. So now we've got 3 beds opened up. CK, the tongue girl, is about to be discharged. And now we have Monica Peters arriving. Monica basically involuntarily retired because they went digital. And so she was like an analog clerk, basically. So she's come in to work to help them run this circus because this was her shit back in the day. So Larry and Antoine get demoted from being clerks. They go back to being their regular old, well, I shouldn't say it like that. They're very valuable. I didn't mean it like that. Medical assistants, finally. What do you mean Antoine was making a personal call from the emergency phone?
No, that's the thing. I was like, what?
Also, you're telling me that man had a phone number memorized? So Makeda from Records has Whitaker's new badge. She's come down with Whitaker's new badge, and she volunteers to be a runner for them. And so things start to run a lot smoother from here. And I'm certain that nothing bad is going to happen for the rest of their shift because everything really just starts to like smooth out and gets a lot better. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay that way.
The marathon runner representation here, though, that as an answer to how fast are you isn't really, because really what she's answering there is that she has a lot of stamina, so she can run for a while, not necessarily that she's fast. Because like I can run for a while, I can run for like 5 hours at a time, but I'm not very fast. Also, very accurate to the marathon runner experience that she like brought that up immediately, mostly unprompted. It was like, yeah, we do that. We're insufferable. So that felt real to me. I appreciated that. I felt seen.
So we find out that Jude's sister, Chantal, works and she is in community college. Jude isn't in daycare or anything like that because they can't afford it. And so we find out why their parents...
Daycare? He's 12.
I don't know what the word was.
She was talking about like camp. Like he couldn't go to camp or anything during the day.
Which is the type of care during the day. I don't know. Whatever. Now, we find out like why the idea of Jude being taken away from her is so triggering is because their parents were deported 9 months ago to Haiti. They went to an immigration hearing and were detained.
I said oof out loud.
Because
here's our immigration story that we were looking for.
This is a big hot button issue that a lot of people are talking about where they're like, oh, there's an ICE storyline that's going to be playing throughout the season at some point. And I think this is the beginning of it. And I forget who was quoted as saying it, but essentially they're like doing a playing the both sides thing or whatever.
The medical drama, which integrates real-life tensions into the emergency room environment, has established that an upcoming episode will feature U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Since this was a sensitive story, the executive producer, John Wells, notified HBO leadership about the storyline before the start of production. As per Deadline, he said, "I don't want to be in a situation where it's a surprise," and their response was, "Good story, just make sure it's balanced and we're not just treating the situation as if it doesn't have other points of view."
That's what it was.
Notably, HBO did not avoid, cancel, or even censor the ICE storyline. The network did not ask the subject to be taken off or substantially changed. Rather, it was handled with the complexity of the situation in mind instead of depicting a one-dimensional picture.
I think at the end of the day, it's still going to be a fuck ICE kind of moment.
Yeah, there's literally nothing like rest in piss, all of you, like you'll burn in hell. Every single one of you will burn in hell.
Super hell, actually.
Yeah, super hell.
Also wild that this is around, considering when this would be filmed, this is around the point where like it was still in people's mind, the presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump about the whole like, oh, the Haitian people are eating dogs and cats. And that's just, racist rhetoric that Trump was pushing around to fear monger and get votes.
It was heartbreaking for me to realize that like people that matter a lot to me genuinely believed that.
Ugh.
So anyway, fact check your shit. But yeah, there are people who are, people like to preach about like do immigration the right way. And it's like, okay, then why are people being detained at immigration hearings? They're going to their check-ins. They are doing the legal thing. And then there are people camped out there waiting to take them away. And it's evil. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't think there is nuance or a both sides to this issue. So she moved back home to take care of her brother so that he wouldn't have to leave with their parents. And we are with Dylan, the social worker, and they ask for a moment alone with her, which I really appreciated, that they were like, we don't need to have the doctors here to have this conversation. Like, we need to talk about this and talk through this a bit more. And so I really liked that happened. Santos says abuse trumps neglect. And I agree, right?
Yes. Yes, and.
Yes, and this is why context is so important, because there are plenty of scenarios in which neglect equates abuse. Neglect is abuse. So in a way, like I get where she's coming from, and I understand what she's saying, but you can't use that as a blanket statement because that's not necessarily factually true.
Right.
You know, Amaya is in excruciating pain again, and she's the woman with PCOS. So she's going to get some morphine, and they're going to let the meds kick in before they do anything to examine her. Now, Garcia is pissed because there was a delay in processing and reading the x-ray for Javati's patient. And she explains that she could have fixed this issue in like a minute without surgery, but now it's been so long that she can't do that. She needs major surgery. I was really struck by Shabana Aziz's acting in this scene.
Yeah.
In the whole episode, really, because she has tears in her eyes like the entire scene.
Well, and I mean, I just can't imagine being in a job like this where, you know, you make a little mistake, you think somebody else has something handled, and it leads to this. Like, God, that's so much pressure.
Yeah. And then, okay, I've never wanted to fight Garcia before.
Oh my God.
Until this moment. She calls her Nepo baby. That pissed me the fuck off because she does deserve to be there. She's incredibly intelligent.
Yeah, no, that was uncalled for. This made me more angry at her than the like messy lesbian drama, because I'm kind of enjoying. No, I'm not really even mad at Garcia for the Santos thing, because it's like, it's not her fault that Santos caught feelings and she just wants it to be casual. Like, they need to communicate more, but like, you know, who among us doesn't need to communicate better? But this, I was like, okay, what is going on with you? Because like, you're being a bitch. This is not cool.
Now, Whitaker is very supportive. Javati is basically like, I could have killed her. And Whitaker says, I like that he says, we caught it in time. And we won't let it happen again.
We're a team.
I loved the support there. Right. It wasn't on you. We caught it. It's all good. Like, we won't let it happen again. Emma comes to get Dana, who is outside, fighting the urge for a smoke break. You can do it, Dana. There's definitely an aura of beef surrounding Monica and Princess, because Emma says that Princess sent her to get Dana, and she said something about Monica under her breath, but she couldn't make it out. So there's definitely going to be some drama between the nurses and Monica.
Good. I love drama.
Dana tells Emma that she did really good with Ilana, and she asked what Emma talked about with her. Then they took a break. And Emma says that she said, you know, there may be a time in the future when you want to press charges, and you want to be able to have that chance. You want to have this evidence so that you can do that, right?
Yeah, it felt to me like I almost expected her to be like, oh, we talked about like my own experience with this, because that's sort of what it felt like. But I could understand, you know, even if that was the case, her not wanting to tell Dana that, because sometimes it's easier to like tell a stranger real things than it is to like tell someone that you know that you're going to have to see again.
No, I definitely, it gave the vibe of like personal experience, whether that be her or a friend. It gave me the idea that like she had some personal experience with this. And so Dana tells Emma that she only has a few more hours of her first day. Damn it, Dana!
I need everyone to stop saying we only have a few more hours. I know this is a 15-episode season.
There are so many jinxes. That's 2 more added to the fucking reel that we made a few weeks back. It's crazy how many fucking
There are so many
jinxes.
hours left. There are so many hours left, guys. Stop saying this.
Yeah. So CK and Q, who are the Jackies, are now flirting with Langdon. And I was so uncomfortable with this because on this podcast, we always say, leave women alone.
Yeah.
Like, let them work. They can't escape you while they're at work. I want to amend that and say, leave everyone alone. Don't flirt with people while they're working. They can't escape you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Amaya, we find out after an ultrasound, has reduced blood flow to an ovary because it's twisting in place. It's got torsion.
Again, how? Why are my organs just in there moving around? Like,
yeah, they are. Your organs are moving around.
No, don't say that to me.
Mal, you are essentially you're essentially soup. That's essentially what you are. You're mainly liquid with things inside you. You are a soup pouch.
No, I would call that a stew.
True. You know what? Yeah, you're
Chunks of meat.
You're like
My
a stew.
bones are wet and my organs are moving around. Like, free me from this flesh prison.
My bones are wet and I'm full of chunks of meat.
And they're taking wet photos of your bones.
Oh, our listeners love us. This reminds me of the testicular torsion, because what they say is basically they need surgery. It's a minor surgery to untwist it basically and then tack it down so that it won't move again. And when you say tack, I'm like a thumbtack and like a
Ah.
I know, which is not what it is, but that's just if it's addressed quickly enough, they can save her ovary, which is like, she's like, wait, I could lose my ovary. And they're like, don't worry. Like, we can get you up and get this fixed. And I really like that Whitaker gave McKay her flowers, even though he didn't like present his treatment plan to the patient about like, oh, we should just treat her and street her. But he still takes the moment to give her flowers in front of the patient.
Yeah.
To be like, Dr. McKay wanted to keep you here. She made the right call. So I really liked that. Now, Abbott is back. By the way, this episode is directed by Sean Hattasy.
Wow, he directed and he was in it.
Oh my God.
What an icon.
A man could never.
A man did, and that man is Sean Hattasy. Also, every time I see his name written out, I read it as Sean Hatosi, and then I have to be like, wait, no, it's Hattasy. I know it's, yeah.
I know it's Hattasy, but yeah, I do say Hatosi in my head.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. So Abbott returns with Howard after the CT. I, again, did not think they were coming back. My bad. Howard says Dr. Abbott is funny, and Robbie says that his charm wears off, and Abbott is like, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Season 2, I'm still charmed.
Abbott is endlessly charming all the time, and that's coming from me, who is not easily charmed by men.
They gotta get surgery down there. So Robbie wants to debrief with Javati, but I'm guessing we're gonna like see that next week or later or whatever. So Dylan tells Santos and Robbie that Jude is in good hands with Chantal, that they won't be calling family services today, but that they do have to make an assessment. And so because he's in the hospital for surgery, they can't do that assessment now, but they will be doing, they will be reporting it to social services to make an assessment later. And they, in Dylan's experience, they will do the same assessment that they did. Social services will do the same assessment that they did. And so we're hopeful for a good outcome, basically. But Dylan does say it may be best for him to go to Haiti and be with his parents. Santos is not happy about this. I think it's an incredibly nuanced situation.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not he'd be better with his parents in Haiti or here with his sister. However, I will say his sister is clearly struggling.
Right.
So there are situations in which it's like, okay. But again, you have to remember that like their parents did immigrate here for a reason, and we don't know that reason. So it may not be safe for him, even if that's where his parents are and they can be better parents than his sister can.
Right.
Or better guardians,
It's a very complex and nuanced situation.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to ICE, there is no nuance. Fuck those bitches, right? But when it comes to the care of a child, there's a nuance.
I always have so much sympathy for eldest daughters who have to kind of give up their lives to take care of younger siblings. Obviously, as an eldest daughter with younger siblings, like I love my brothers so much. But also, my life improved so much when I was able to move away from home and become my own person. And I just feel so much for these older sisters who are, not stuck, but stuck with caring for and raising a younger brother. Because, like, she was in college and had to leave and is now going to community college to take care of her brother. And, like, it's just, I feel for her. And then, like, the idea that it might all be for nothing at the end of the day because she may lose her brother anyway, just devastating.
I love being a big sister so much, right? I'm a middle child, but I'm a big sister. I have 2 younger brothers and 2 older brothers. I don't think that anyone who is not an eldest daughter or a big sister can understand the emotional weight that it carries. Even if you're not having to like parent, there is still like your younger siblings will look at you and up to you in a way that they don't with brothers, right? Because of the gender stereotypes in society, they will look to you for nurturing no matter what. You know, I don't think you can avoid that. And I don't think anyone who is not an older sister will ever understand that. But Garcia comes in to see Howard. We find out he does not have appendicitis. He has a hole in his colon, and there's bacteria spilling into his abdomen.
Oh,
It's a really shitty time. So if not treated, there is a guarantee 100% that it will kill him. But again, it's also a 50-50% chance that he makes it through surgery because of his weight. Abbott is not pleased with Garcia's bedside manner, clearly, but he doesn't say anything about it. Whitaker has found his sister. Howard wants to talk to her. She wants to talk to him. And Garcia's like, yeah, we have no time for that. But Abbott is like, we're going to wheel him outside. We're going to get his sister on the phone. And she's like, okay, but, you know, that's on you. I'll get an OR prepped, but you better be fast.
Garcia's like, we don't have time. Abbott's like, I'll make time.
Of course Sean Hattasey directed this and then made his character look really fucking good, you know?
So McKay comes in to talk to Roxy. She's alone. She has the lights off. She has like a little salt lamp and photos of her family, and the curtains are drawn. She's very weak. She's clearly cold. She's in a lot of pain. When McKay asks if she needs anything, she asks for a time machine. And I just found this scene to be very powerful and very sad. And like personally, I've never had anyone very close to me die before, so I literally cannot imagine this pain.
It sucks.
Yeah, I've never had the like very sad hospital room kind of dying experience.
We just talked recently with our friend Erin, and she was talking about how like her dad was actively dying in the hospital over the course of a couple days, and it was just kind of like sitting there like, I have to like go get up and get a snack. And like this is like tedious in a way that people don't think about, you know? Now, when Roxy asks, McKay says that she likes the concept of God. She says that McKay has seen her fair share of death, and Roxy asks her for advice, and she says she's never died before. And I just was like,
Whew.
we need the good old ho'oponopono.
Yeah. And I almost wish we would have gotten some good McKay advice here, because, like, I also have never died before, so, like, I would have enjoyed the advice.
So Howard's sister is on the phone. She's on FaceTime, and the first thing that he says to her is that she's beautiful.
My brothers would never.
Oh, my brothers would. If they thought they were dying, they would.
No.
Yeah, I would definitely do that with my older sister.
Like, as a very emotional big sister, I could not imagine anything happening to my brothers. I would lose my shit. Like, nope, can't do it. So,
it's going to be devastating when this man dies. It is.
He's going to live. 50-50 chance. Let it roll.
Every time I see a scene where it's like a brother and a sister, and they're like saying goodbye or having a really emotional potential last conversation, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
I kind of wasn't sure. I was like, I had a bad feeling about the whole thing, but then when the sister was like, oh, I forgot to tell him I love him, and they didn't fucking turn the phone around so she could tell him, I was like, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
Oh my God. No, I know.
Yeah, no, I was like, why would you not be like, okay, real quick, like, what?
Oh, here, yeah, literally? What? Oh my God, I can't. Really briefly, as everybody's moving around, Monica, we see her interact with Robbie. She doesn't seem to like him. So, okay. And then we have this insanely amazing scene with Abbott and Robbie. Abbott says that he likes Dr. Al and says that only time will tell whether he likes her better than Dr. Robbie. And he assures Robbie that it seems like she's, going to take good care of the day shift. Now, Abbott is going to leave because he has to be back in a few hours. And Robbie is like, just in case we don't see each other again, they say goodbye.
Crimson flag number 2. Because Robbie's also like, oh, I can't name the last time I took a vacation. Abbott is worried and he's like, hey, you're going to call me if things get dark. And Robbie refuses to fucking look at him and just walks away, like patting him on the back.
He's smiling like a maniac.
He's like, I know something you don't, and that something is I'm going to fucking kill myself. And it's like, Robbie, please don't do it.
They are hitting us over the head with the Robbie is suicidal, Robbie is not right. And I'm just like, is it because he's having all these like off-putting interactions with like so many different people that like nobody is connecting the dots? Because like obviously people are worried, but there's so many just like textbook red flags
Yeah.
that I'm just like, bro, somebody check in on this man.
Leave it to Sean Hattasy to be like, yes, my character can figure out that Robbie is suicidal. I'm the smart one. Hee.
I want to be clear. We all know he directed, not wrote, right?
But also, I feel like when you're directing, you can be like, hey, you want to put in the script that my character gets to be really cool and really excellent in this episode? Okay, thanks. I don't know how anything works. Don't listen to me.
Reminder, they don't have scripts on set at this show.
Sean Hattasy's making it a canon. He's like, my character has the biggest dick on set.
Well, that's just true, baby.
Can't be a cowboy like that if you don't got the dick to prove it.
I was about to say Jack Third Leg Abbott, and then I remembered he's an amputee. He only has
got 2 legs, and one of them's his dick.
I think there's a special place in hell for all of us.
That might have to stay in the edit.
We get a lore drop that Joy is incredible regarding radiology. She's never been in radiology. Like, she's never been, none of her rotations or anything like that. She's just that good. Which, again, kind of Deus Ex Machina, I have photographic memory. I'm like...
Right. She's just, like, good at everything. Love her. Because also, like, I'm more willing to believe that, like, she's good at everything because she's not an asshole about it. Like, Ogilvy is very much like, I know everything. But then Joy is the one who, like, proves that she actually kind of does. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Someone needs to get, like, the horny bonk, a spray bottle for Princess, because Princess, like, walks up to Nick and she's like, I'm good at things too. And it's like, Princess, please.
Princess, please.
Oh, Princess. Cut it out.
No. And then we get fan service for the Huckle Robbies. Actually, just an interaction between Robbie and Whittaker.
Robbie comes into the break room. He does what? Sorry.
You beat me to it, damn it!
God, we're losing our mind.
Robbie comes in and brings... Fuck, I'm sorry. I thought somebody...
So Robbie comes into the break room and he gives Whittaker his badge. Whittaker is like, you can still call me, Whittaker, Dennis, whatever. And Robbie's like, no, doctor, you earned it. I'm proud of you. We're all proud of you. And I'm like, okay, fan service, calm the fuck down.
All right, Dr. Whittaker. Now, Whittaker gets confronted by Robbie about
his farm benefits.
This is not like Farmers Insurance, Farmer Mutual, all those companies. This is not the kind of benefits they're promoting, okay? Unless I'm misunderstanding something. But Whittaker says, like, no, she's got, friends and family and they're around to help. But mostly she relies on ...
Me.
And Robbie's like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't. Emotionally, you can't do that.
But I also, I feel like now he's in too deep. Like, he can't just leave this woman.
Yeah. And I honestly, part of me is like, okay, whose failure is this? Because it's been 10 months. So why didn't this get brought up sooner? If Santos is really concerned, why didn't she bring this up 8 months ago? Right? And so I'm like, who dropped the ball here? What's going on? Because honestly, he wouldn't have really known better. I mean, like, everybody else seems to, but some people just have to learn things in a different way. But, like, why did no one pick up on this and say something sooner? Why did it get to this point? But we have these, like, back-to-back incredible scenes. And I was just like, Sean Hattasy, come get your flowers. Like, these are incredible. This episode is incredible. The direction of this episode is amazing.
And speaking of the direction of this episode, Robbie has, like, a fucking light bulb moment. He's like, oh, hey, you want to house sit for me? Abbott would do it, but I don't want my elderly neighbors to wake up to Abbott's naked sunrise yoga. Excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
Can't just drop that and then not let us see Abbott's naked sunrise yoga, I say, as a lesbian.
It's just really funny that Whittaker is like, oh yeah, that'd be great. House sitting, not seeing Abbott's naked sunrise yoga. I'm like, honey, we know you're gay. You don't have to hide it. It's okay.
Oh my God. No.
There's that meme where it's like, have you seen my son? He's this tall, he's gay, but we haven't had the talk yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's Whitaker.
And Robbie says, if I don't come back, you've got a swinging bachelor pad.
Crimson flag number 3.
Literally, it is literally like textbook suicide red flag is when people start like giving their stuff
Giving
away.
things away. Mm-hmm.
He is covering for the fact that he is about to kill himself by I'm going on sabbatical.
That being said, I think it's wild to be like, hey, I'm going to kill myself. You want my apartment, dude? Here you go. Whitaker doesn't make money. How's he going to afford the rent?
Yes, he does.
He's making money now.
He's a doctor.
He had $40 to his name and he lost it all betting.
He's making money now.
Also, I'm like, are you leaving it to him in your will or something? Because that's not how that works. He can't just like osmosis into your home. Unless Huckle Robbie Cannon.
Oh, God. I was going to say RIP to the Santos Whitaker roomie era.
Yeah, we hate to see you go. We barely got to see any of you, but like, Whitaker got a cool new haircut. I'm sure Whitaker was dragged to a gay bar or two.
It's canon. My good friend Issa Briones told me herself that Santos is dragging Whitaker to gay bars across Pittsburgh.
Good. We need that.
They went to the neighborhood in Philadelphia. She told me herself.
Now Dr. Al comes in and she's like, who did this? And there's the dummy from 7 a.m.
But I love that, like, the dummy has been there for several episodes now. And Dr. Al has been in the break room with the dummy when she was talking to Samira last episode.
We get, like, maybe this will come in handy, who knows, but we find out we can't receive faxes, but we can still send faxes. Now, Donnie is walking out with the furry, telling him, stay hydrated, wear something breathable, and the waiting room is a mess. He's like, if you start to feel bad again, come back. And they're like, you sure about that? Because it's just a disaster out there. And then you hear somebody here like, hey, turn the TV up. A deadly water slide collapse with 1 fatality, multiple injuries, and someone being airlifted in.
And they're all coming straight for us because we're the only fucking hospital in Pittsburgh.
And they're all gonna be damp.
Oh
my God. This is technically a ding, 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 ding. Camille was right because it was last episode or the episode before.
Camille just sat up so much straighter. She's like, I was right.
And I was talking to Mal earlier about this. You both technically made predictions last episode, I think. Like, no, there is an extra thing that's going to happen other than just everything going analog. Was wrong. Somebody has to beat me with a broom, I guess. That's what you get for being wrong. But Mal was also technically wrong because Mal was like, oh, I think it's going to be the explosion factory thing.
I'm
blah, blah,
still
blah.
holding on to the fireworks.
You know what? I don't think this is a mass casualty. I think there still could be more. It's too early.
Camille's like, I want more people to die.
No, we're only halfway through the
Explode
season.
another water park.
Everybody's about to be slipping and sliding into this ED. My patient passport moment is Langdon with Becca.
That's a good one.
I loved it so much. So much.
My patient passport moment has to be Howard and his sister. They really got me, man. We had the nurses episode. Now this is like the siblings episode.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Man, you both picked really sweet ones because I was just about to say my patient passport moment is the doc drama, but
say that again so we don't have a slur on the fucking feed.
You can censor it.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna let that play as it did, but I'm gonna censor that word.
Yeah. I'm allowed to say that slur. I am one.
That is so valid. Yeah, that's valid. That's fine. Any final thoughts?
I hope the lesbians get messier. That's all.
If you have a sibling, give them a call after you're done listening to this episode.
Well, if that's all, so long, fellow losers.
The Pit Crew podcast is created and produced by us, Robert, Mal, and Camille. It is edited by Robert. You can find us on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram at Pit Crew Podcasts. If you'd like to support our other projects, our socials are linked in the show notes. Our art is by Rand Pacoca, and he can be found on Instagram at Rand Pacoca. All patient questions and concerns can be emailed to pittcrewpodcast@gmail.com. And this isn't a Taco Bell, but we do appreciate a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to schedule a follow-up appointment with a nurse before you go. See you next time.